Welcome, this is where nerds come to learn things. If it's your first time here, click on the subscribe button and on the bell icon to get notifications about new videos. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoy it. So this has arrived as well. Now this is not a mailbag item as such. It's actually a repair which someone's asked me to look at doing. I have this radio here which is broken. I believe it's broken. So it's a Galaxy, as you can see. I'm not sure if I've worked on this radio once already before or not. I may have done. Certainly a lot of packaging involved. No power cord, that's helpful. No power cord, no mic. I always prefer it when people send the complete thing because then I can test it fully. You know, I can make sure the power cord has not got a voltage drop because it's got a bad connection. I can make sure the microphone's correctly wired and working correctly. That sort of thing. And yes, I have worked on this. And someone's been in it. This is one of my stickers. Radio Mods is my radio work side of things, which I don't do a lot of, but yeah. And it's got void across here. So someone's opened up my sticker and been inside this radio. So yeah. Now this would have been probably in the last couple of years I would have worked on this radio. I haven't had those stickers that long. So yes. But no power here is going to be a pain. I might have to sort of hook up some crocodile clips or something like that and do it. I haven't got my RF test bench set up yet in my other lab area. So the idea is to have this one as not my general electronics working lab where I'm doing my troubleshooting and working on test gear and that sort of stuff is here, and my other lab, which is in a different place, is going to be set up for doing RF gear. Although I don't do a lot of RF stuff, to be honest. I don't do as much as I used to, certainly. I might do a few a year, but I've got a whole bunch of CBs I need to fix on my own, so I need to get onto that. But anyway, I'm waffling. So yes, apparently this thing had problems powering up and someone's been playing with it. Always awesome. If it'd been left alone, not messed with my seal, at least I would have had some idea of, hey, things are probably okay. Which cover's been taken off? Both of them. So I also put some seals on each screw. Both screws have been taken off, so both covers have been removed. So where's the problem? I don't know. We'll have to find out. So I'm going to start off with opening the thing up. Actually, let's get my electric screwdriver. I have to go back and look at my files about what I did to this radio previously, but from memory I think it was just an alignment. I don't remember anything else being wrong with it. Is that paint on there? Or is that dust? Interesting. White dust. Very interesting. Oh, dropped a screw on the floor. I'll give it a minute. Okay. Take my void sticker off. That's what it does if you take it off. So let's have a little visual inspection of the circuit board first to see if I can see anything obviously wrong. Well, there's nothing obvious. So if it's a serious problem, you'd usually see a burnt out trace or a bit of charring or something like that. There is this bit here which isn't actually, that's supposed to have been tinned, it's not been done. There we go, I can see it's just there. This is looking slightly discoloured. It might just be nothing, but it must be reflections. Yeah, it's probably nothing. But yeah, I can't see anything obvious there. Nothing that jumps out at me, at least. Which may be a good thing, but it might be a bad thing. Let's get this side off. I'm ready to get it off. There you go. So, right. That was a year ago I did this radio. And yeah, I don't really remember it. Interesting. My memory is not what it once was, I'll tell you. So, nothing obvious. But, yeah. I have to figure out what's going on with that. Now the power comes into this module here. So that's the next thing we need to look at, is get this cover off here and have a look inside the RF section of the amplifier. That is still sealed, it's not been opened up. Okay, no scorch marks on there, that's always a good sign. And so look, MOSFETs look okay. Yeah, no holes in them at least. So yeah, I believe the description on this thing was that it didn't power up. I can't see any reason for that to happen. Maybe it's a bad on-off switch, you know. There, pop the screen. Could be that. Who knows? I'll have to dig into this some more. Okay, so I'll just check the history on this radio for what I had this thing here for previously. A year ago, and what it was actually a faulty diode. In the band selection switching under here, underneath the channel selector, there's a diode matrix which selects the bands using the binary adders under here, and from factory it had a fault. One of the bands didn't work. The diode was shorted out, so it's basically linking two bands together and causing a channel selection problem. This had been modified in the USA by the company, or by the shop that the person bought this from in the USA. Yeah, so the history on this is basically it's a brand new radio, a year old, and all I did when I fixed it before was I replaced the diode which had blown down here, which is why this was still sealed. I hadn't touched any of that. But the description of the fault with it right now, as I said before, is that it's losing power. So apparently when it goes over a bump, the radio will turn off and stuff like that. It may not even be the radio, it might be the power cable, you know. It could have been the other end of the wire. Don't know. So I need to hook up onto that, power it up, and see if I can make it full, or see if it lives. So I'll get some clip leads and I'll try it. Right, I've got it hooked up to power. Well, I've got it hooked up to the antenna. I've got the power leads here. Hooked up to my bench power supply, although it's currently limited to 1 amp, which isn't going to be enough. Let's just swap this around a bit. Let's give it a few amps. It's going to need it. I'm not going to transmit on it, but I've got this kit up just in case there's a issue with it resonating or something like that, and it's trying to transmit a signal. At least it will protect the finals from being blown up. Okay, so negative, positive, drawing almost no current, which is a little bit surprising actually. Hear that? That's an indication there is some life. Okay, well, no smoke, but display and everything on the radio is off. Okay, but there is some kind of life because that speaker's clicking. Might just be a switch setting on the front panel. So let's just put this cover back on and put this back together because I'm confident it's not in here. Pretty sure it's not in there. So, no power. Let's check the front panel stuff out. We'll put this back on. And the fact the speaker's clicking means there must be some kind of power getting through. Right, let's see if there's something silly going on. 10K off. Echo off. Voice blanket off. Let's turn everything off. AM mode, sort of half over. Right. Fine course to set all these things up to be kind of. There's no center T10 on that thing. Echo and times, turn those down. Dim and power. So power can turn down, dim can be up. Mic and RF, squelch, should preset this stuff really. Right, talkback off. Right. As you can see, there's actually nothing at all on display. But you can hear that click. Now you've got this switch here which does FD off. Right? I know this turns off the displays, and so it's definitely not that. So it's a bit interesting. So it's probably some kind of voltage regulator supply problem. Now the fact it's got this modification over here with this regulator makes you wonder if that's what's wrong. So let's just have a little poke around over there. You know, someone's modification has probably failed. You know, let's see what we can find here. So yeah, I'm just going to probe to here. It's good enough for ground. Yeah. And oh look, it just came on. Interesting, isn't it? Touch just there and it came on. Do you think I'm in about the right place? 8 volts here. 13 volts that side. For some reason the 13 volt side's been taken off. It's a bit interesting. So, why has that been taken off? Is that a cracked trace? Don't think so, but it seems to be around here somewhere. Right, must be a bad solder joint. Or it's that connection on that voltage regulator on the other side. It is interesting the way it doesn't connect to the trace it's designed for. It's been done differently. So let's just have a look at that. There you go, it's gone off again. It's off. Let's try and probe it and see where this power's dropping out. Should do it the right way around, shouldn't I? Just to be sure. Okay, no 8 volt supply there. That's gone. There's a 13 volt supply there. The 8 volt supply is gone. Okay. Let's flip it over. Just came back on again. Let's probe around that voltage regulator that's there, because I think that's where the problem is. So just down there, it's got this leg, just there is the leg for a voltage regulator. Doing 11 volts, 9 volts. So I'm not quite sure why someone would want to change that particular part there. That is just sitting on top of a trace. I think that's actually not attached. So there's a wire link there, which that's sitting directly above. And yeah, it's not attached. It's not attached. That's what's wrong. Okay, let's turn my power supply off. There's a big blob of solder on into that leg for that transistor there, and it's moving around. I can actually look. I've just lifted it up. It's just floating. So it must have just been resting on that wire link. Why they've done that in the first place, I don't know. That's odd. I'm inclined to put it back on the other side of the board where it's supposed to go, and undo whatever the hell this particular bloody modification is. That is just like dumb, really. It's just sitting there. See? It was just resting on that wire link. So, not impressed by that. So at least it's an easy fix. But why have they done that particular modification anyway? Mind you, that said, I've seen all sorts of weird, stupid crap done by people doing CB work because they're convinced it does something. This track doesn't look like it's ever been soldered. Now that wire link, that might be the one it goes to anyway. Let's have a look. So there's two links there. So that wire link is actually the trace it goes to anyway. That's a bit strange. Why would they do that onto the wire link instead of just using the trace it's designed to use? What? Why? Okay, so this is the transistor voltage regulator point. There you can see the empty trace right there where that leg is supposed to be attached. Okay, and then there, from that point there to that point there is a wire link, which that leg was soldered to on the outside of the board. Okay, so why I didn't just attach it to that trace, I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense. And in here, let's try and get this in frame and everything. Is that zoomed in as far as I can? It is. So there's the transistor there, or the voltage regulator, and there's the leg right there. As you can see, it's wobbling around there because I've lifted it up. And there's the wire link right there, which it was attached to. Well, resting on. Yeah, it's attached to it. So it doesn't really make sense why they've done that. Maybe it's because there's an own issue with the side of the chassis flexing and breaking the traces. That is something which some radios suffer from. So maybe they've done that as a kind of workaround, but they haven't done it very well. I'm going to put it back on the other side of the board, back through the hole, and I'll try and get it back through the hole, and put it back on properly. Then that will fix it. I'm not going to worry about aligning it. I might just do a quick frequency check, and otherwise it should be okay. I mean, all the Terex RX alignment will be fine because I did all that last time I had the radio. I presume no one's messed with it. There's no broken core, so it's probably fine. Unlikely, but as long as the frequencies are okay, then I'm probably sure that no one's been messing with those. It was a power problem they're having, so yeah. So I'm going to start by removing this big blob of solder that's on the leg here, which looks like lead-free solder too, based on the way it's acting, and it's not wanting to come off very cleanly in my iron. That could be problematic. Lead-free solder means it's probably a factory bloody thing. Might do this a bit at a time. Maybe I should have got my soldering iron, my desoldering iron going. I just want to get this blob off. Might have to get some wick out, actually. Let's do it with some wick. This isn't working very well. Okay, I'll do. Yeah, so a big blob of unleaded solder. Wow, okay. But it looks like it's a factory bloody thing, which is just amazing. I would have never thought that a factory would do that. But even, no, that's what it is. It has a different pinout. The pinout doesn't match. Have they screwed up the pinout? They've got the pinout messed up, that's what's going on there. That's why it's weird, that explains it. But yeah, still, not the best way of doing it. Tacking it onto a bloody solder jumper, wire jumper. Let's just push this down here. Like alongside that one, and use leaded solder, not lead-free solder. And that should then at least last, with a bit of luck. So I get it nice parallel connection, so it's got a large contact area instead of just a little bit on the bottom, and we'll try and get that to actually fit the way we want to, like that. So if I solder those together there using leaded solder, it will probably be okay. Let's chuck some flux on it just to give it a hand. Use it as good as possible, and then that should be that. I'll just be able to do some basic testing on it and send it back. Right, if it's all checks out okay. But yeah, it looks like this is what's wrong. It's pretty crappy, I have to say. Pretty crappy from the factory. That's just really not good enough. Big blob of solder and it wasn't even really holding on. It was just sitting on the end of the leg. wasn't even attached to the link. Incredibly bad. Right, so that's looking pretty good there. Yeah, that will have to do. I mean, yeah, it's obviously a mistake from the factory when they've used the, or they couldn't get the right part, or someone's maybe, I don't know, mind you, that solder trace didn't look like it's ever been soldered, it looked like it's never been touched. So it's either a factory part which has been incorrectly specified, or it's an aftermarket modification by the shop that this thing was purchased from in the US, and they've swapped the part out. If it's a modification from a shop, they've done a really good job of cleaning it up. But yeah, it was lead-free solder, so it's likely to have actually been factory. Generally, rework people use leaded because they want it to last. Generally, but that's why it failed. So if I power it up now, it should work. Power it up. We have power. Okay. Give it a bit of flex around just to be absolutely sure it's definitely okay. Yep. Seems fine. Seems fine. So that's excellent. So we'll pop this back together. At least it's a pretty easy fix. That's kind of the sort of thing I was expecting it to be. Wasn't expected to be too complicated. I think it's a wire sitting there. No, it's just not quite sitting in there nicely like it should. Come on, in you go. Sitting on something. Let's turn this back off before I'll do something silly. So we stop it going down. This wire here is sitting a bit funny, I think. Ah, it says nylon tyres. Okay, here we go. That's what it was. Something doesn't go right. Something doesn't sit quite right. Always double check why. Don't just force it in there. Something's using, stopping for a reason. If it's a wire, it will eventually get cut through. If it's on the edge of a piece of metal, it will cut through it eventually. So yeah, that's all okay now. Right, so I'm going to put the top cover back on again, and because that can affect the tuning, I'll put all that back together. So let's get a couple of screws in first, get it to start aligning itself. No worries, just put them in. I don't actually tighten them all up yet. I'll get them all in so it's all lined up, and I'll tighten the back one up as I'm pushing the chassis down. That way it pushes it fully forward and stuff like that. But otherwise you do these, you do the back one, and it ends up just bending the back of the chassis up. Just little details like that. Just make sure we don't damage something. I'm fussy like that. So I need to find a mic for this, and so I think it was just someone trying to see if they could see what was wrong with the thing when it's cutting out. So I think they've actually done anything in a bad way. You do get radios, so you send them out and they'll come back a week later, oh no, it doesn't work properly, you've done something wrong. And you look at it and they've opened it up and they've messed all the adjustments inside, which you carefully set when you did your alignment and all that sort of stuff. Right, so it's drawing about 300 milliamps on standby. Let's find a mic. Power is the outer one there, it's already turned right down. Let me put my power supply in parallel mode. Right, 6 amps I can do now. And turn it back on. It's maxing out. So even with the power turned right down, I can't power this off my bench power supply. And that's doing 4 watts, so yeah. I can't test this properly on this supply. I will need to rig something up. But yeah. Anyway, you get the gist of it. I'm not going to do any more video on this. I'll fix the rest of this off camera. But yeah, that's a nice simple fix. So if you get one of these things and it does that weird cutting out thing, or it just dies, then you may want to investigate that transistor down there, see what's going on, because obviously it ain't right. Hope you found it interesting, and I'll catch you later. Quality, really?